today's episode of the Pirate Carpenter Show, we thought we'd start out with a little literary segment. I'm going to read just a brief passage from this manuscript that we found in Harriet's stuff here at the project house. Written by I'm assuming a young man by the name of R. Baumstone. And the title is, I assume, Amos 5. I suppose it could be Amos V for all I know. With the subtitle of A Walker's Progress. Let's just pick a random spot in the middle, shall we? Again, the rotation. Re-emergence into whatever the present is. At my insistence, Du Ritz once timed the frequency of this cycle. It turned out to be exactly 6 minutes. We have termed it the hydrobromide cycle. It seems that the storm is abating, and contact with the writer may be lost until next time the clouds clear and the wind rises. It is obvious that the writer is familiar with many of the problems that Du Ritz and I had to so absorbed with. His world must be one of other possibilities. Just what connection he has with my world is hard to say as yet. Literature. So, it's time for another tour of the project house. We've come on back here. As you'll see, we've got the paper spread around. We've got our crazy lighting system to make a literary segment look correct. Sophia and Beth yesterday went and spread all of this crap around so that people could start picking through it and getting it out of our life. That would be great. Still no takers on the manuscript or the wonderful lamp right there. As you'll see though, we've got new paper and ram board down on the main section of floor, which was handy since one of our guests yesterday, their dog took a crap right in the middle of the room. So all of the stuff is kind of almost out of the bedrooms now at this point. You can see the potential for the floors. Once they're stripped down and finished, a nice, we're thinking a nice rich dark red color. Those are going to be super nice. Come and take a look at this other bedroom as well. I still haven't gotten paper down on these floors. That's the next project. We have this bedroom here, which has all kinds of doors. An extremely narrow main door and a narrow closet door, one door off to the hallway. We're not quite sure what we're going to do with all of that. I think Max has claimed this room. Have you claimed this room, Max? Yeah, I thought so. So, and of course, we didn't stop to open the drapes to let the light in so you could see it in here because we're trying to keep it a little private for now. But this is the same thing with the floors. We strip them down, they're going to be just fine. And, it looks like we missed a Scooby-Doo cobweb there. Yeah. And if you look over here, we've got a few places where I fixed the leaks in the roof, but I still need to come around and fix the plaster damage. If you follow me this way, we've cleaned up the stove a little bit. It's an antique piece of crap as far as I can tell. It takes up twice as much space but has half as many functions. So far I've only had one person look at it to take it away, and they, I think, made an excuse and disappeared, so I think we're done with them. If you'll notice the little black, those weren't there yesterday, and as we had an auntie come by and claim a bunch of stuff, I noticed after she left there were all these little black things, and I thought, oh my God, did she uncover mouse turds or something? Turns out, I think, caraway seeds, I'm hoping. They do match that there, so I'm thinking not mouse turds. Whew.
I think Sister opened that.
Was it Sister that got those? Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. So over here, actually the floor in general still looks absolutely awful, but the big old black giant stain with the petrified food that was under what I believe was probably her butcher block countertop, I spent about an hour cleaning that because it was too disgusting to exist with. I had to get rid of it. And you'll see as I cleaned, what you'll notice with the existing floor is it was installed apparently by a crazy person. You can see it's got a seam running down the middle and then a seam right there. So apparently I think what happened was they found some remnants and they went and seamed them together in here to make an entire floor rather than spending $20 to get a full-size piece of vinyl. I've gone and scrubbed the farm sink down in an attempt to see if I could get by without refinishing it, and as you'll see, the answer was no. There's permanent stains that I think I just made them worse by grinding on them. So that'll get a complete refinish when we do the laundry room remodel. Otherwise, like I said, it still is a fantastic sink. It just needs to be refinished. So come on in here. We've gotten all the crap out of this room so we can get to the mechanical stuff. we've had the plumber come and look inside the wall for at some of the plumbing there. The lighting's really bad. You're not going to see anything there. When I called my furnace guy to come and do the checkup on the furnace, I was told that he would love to come out and that his next available appointment was 6 weeks away. So I scheduled that appointment with him, and I rolled up my sleeves and decided to become a furnace technician. And in a matter of about 10 minutes, I got the furnace running, and it seems like it's running perfectly. So good news there, and I didn't blow up the house. So as we can see here, if you take a close-up of the water heater there, you can see all the junk coming on the side there. That is all from a drip to the supply line right there, which we've cured with high-tech means, the green coffee cup. And if you'll see, that's about a half a day's worth of drip there. So every 2 days I have to come and empty it out. I pour it on a plant. The plumber, when he comes in to redo for the kitchen remodel, is going to pull that hot water tank and replace it. It's still in pretty good shape, but it's 20 plus years old, and when those fail, they fail catastrophically. So we're just going to get rid of it.
We learned that from the Mythbusters.
Yeah. We learned that from the one that split open in our garage and sprayed water all over the place just this last year, actually.
Oh,
yeah. So here is the red bedroom with the nice cave height ceilings and the prison windows. We're going to, as it turns out, besides raising the ceiling and obviously sheetrocking and insulating it properly like a modern house, we've had a request from my beautiful daughter to put in Art Deco corner window. And since that's only a few $100 extra, I'm going to go ahead and take care of that for her. And then we will go to sheetrock and a normal color and a ceiling that's perhaps, you know, a little higher than prison height. Okay. So, and then this has become our kind of our shop space for now. This was actually a really sturdy, if incredibly ugly bookshelf. So it's where all the tools and scrap lumber is getting stored right now. And that's pretty much where we're at with the inside of the house for now. Okay, so here we are. This is a show of the progress of the front yard and the yard in general. We've got a pair of 2-yard dumpsters, one for regular garbage and one for organic. We discovered after we made the first pile that they won't allow blackberries or ivy in the organic pile, so we're sorting, pulling out the ivy that was in there, and we'll have to clean that up. But you can see all of the work. We have a very nice young man that we've nicknamed Manimal, who is just starting out in the landscape business, and he's showing his enthusiasm on clearing this place. It's turning out great. I'm going to come on up the path. We've got the path coated with straw, and you can already see where the mud is starting to seep through, so it's time to put a new layer on here. But it's a lot more passable than it used to be. It turns out these solar lights work perfectly in the middle of the summer and not at all this time of year. So apparently this is the new place that we're accumulating all of the broken pottery, or I assume somebody is laying claim to these things, why they're here instead of in the dumpster. But we'll come on around here. Manimal was nice enough to rescue that chair from the bushes, and as you can see, it's ready to go. So, if you'll recall from the first tour of the yard, we pointed at the alley access and you were unable to see it at all. Today you can see the alley access, plus the straw that we spread around to keep the mud down. And still not quite room to put a vehicle or a trailer or any of that sort of thing, but as you can see, at least we can see and we can travel this direction to haul materials in. As a matter of fact, I was able to bring my truck up with the straw into the alley instead of having to cart it all the way from the front and around to here. So that's an improvement. Next project, I believe, is tearing this awful porch off so that we can perhaps have a little safer transit inside the house here. This is my favorite here. Watch this here. So we're thinking that's going to be kind of a higher priority project here. We might put a little temporary roof on to give us a little more cover. So these are kind of cool here. I'm not sure. I do believe these are electrical insulators. or actually, you know what? That must be some sort of vase. I really don't know. It weighs about 50 pounds. It's really heavy. I thought it was an insulator because that looks like a cable guide right there. But I don't know. So I can't think of what else to show you. Obviously the yard is much better, and it's going to keep getting better every time our new landscaper has a chance to come over and work. And this has been our tour for the week. I think we're going to do a little bit of a segment on furnaces and on restoring old hardware. And that'll be this week's Pirate Carpenter Show. Thanks for joining us. So I wanted to spend a few minutes showing about saving and salvaging some of this period hardware. These are the knobs that came with what tiny bit of kitchen cabinets Harriet had. We found one in her stuff. And you can see that it was originally pretty shiny brass color, and it since has gotten several layers of nasty lead-based paint on top of it. And they're kind of nifty. They're almost like a little earthquake-proof thing. They've got like a baby-proof latch when you push on there. And we're not going to use these, but somebody I'm sure will like to have them. So as I'm tearing cabinets out, I'm going to take them out very carefully and try to put them in a box for somebody who has more energy for refinishing things than I do. As you can see, they've now got several coats of paint on them, and what used to be brass is pretty much kind of a greasy black now. So I'll set this down over here, and then it's really not particularly complicated. You take yourself a razor blade knife, and you got to score the paint, very carefully score the paint all the way around. And you don't really care about the cabinet so much as the knob. So you want to, if you're going to err, you want to err on the side of scratching the cabinet, because obviously these particular cabinets are not anything worth saving. So we get that scored, and then if you look really closely here, you can zoom in there, you can just barely see where the little screws were that hold that in place. And so obviously, if you're gonna, you got to uncover that to get them off. And if you're gonna damage anything again, you want to damage the screws, because you can get a new screw that will pass as a replacement, whereas you don't want to put major scratches in the hardware itself. So as you see here, just do just a little bit of whittling on that screw just to uncover it. And it looks like it wasn't even brass anyway. I'm seeing silver as I get there, so it's not a particularly great screw in the first place. And then I'll do the other side really quick. And of course they're old slotted screws, so you got to run a knife blade in the slot so you can get a screwdriver in there. Let me see here. Okay, that one's pretty clear. And then, actually in Harriet's stuff, I found a nice slotted screwdriver. Since I can never find a slotted screwdriver, we don't hardly use slotted screws anymore. So hopefully these will just back right out. And you got to get pretty good pressure in there to keep it from slipping out of the slots. Ah, there we go. That went pretty well. And it looks like it had a brass coating at one point, but pretty much it's come off. So you can get better, newer screws pretty easily. Yeah. This last one here, if we can get it out without stripping it out here. Ah, there we go. Once you get it loose, it's all downhill. These are kind of nice. They've got a little angle to them, so you don't have to try to force the screwdriver around the hardware. Ah, there we go. And we can go ahead and just pull that out. And you'll see those used to be brass, but very low quality brass. They're all silver now from just being scratched on a little bit. But we kept this pretty well intact. So this should be ready to go for somebody to salvage, somebody with more patience for such things than I have. If I can get it out of here. There we go. So, and if you see here, you can see our messy cabinet here, but there's a latch here that comes with it too that we'll take off, and we'll keep them in a pair. And somebody can have themselves some nice period earthquake latches. And if you look over here, probably this one's the easiest one to look at. We're going to do the same thing with the hinges. These were a brass plated hinge. They're not very high quality, but somebody might like them because they're hard to come by anymore. They don't make, they probably do make a reproduction of these, but these are original ones that somebody with more patience than I can do. And you do the same thing basically. You score the paint very carefully all around, and you find the screws and get the paint off the screws. You can just barely tell, if you look closely, you can just barely see where the slot was on the screws. And you do the same thing there, where you go ahead and scratch the paint out of there and get after it with a regular screwdriver. So if you're so inclined to save period things like that, that is the way you go about them. You'll have to find somebody else's YouTube videos as far as how to clean them up and refinish them, because I'm not going to do it. So anyway, thanks for joining us.